on the NewsChannel 5 network. This is Sportsline.
Hey there, Sportsline on your television. Steve Lehman here with you. Glad you are here with us on this Monday night on NewsChannel 5+. Boy, you think things kind of settle down when the hockey season is over. We're not yet to football season. You would think it would be slow, but instead this Monday has been full of stuff. And let's start with the fact that there are multiple reports out there today that the NFL has settled on Nashville to host the 2019 NFL Draft. Now, they're at the league owner meetings this week down in Atlanta, and the owners actually still have to vote on it. So it still has to get done and officially announced, but from all indications, this is pretty much a done deal. Nashville has been picked. It has been vetted. They like the plan. They want to come here. So, you know, that party the Titans threw out in the street on Broadway when they brought out 20,000 people to unveil some uniforms, I think got some people's attention. And Nashville very quickly emerged as the leading candidate for next year to host the draft. And now it looks like it's a reality. So that is certainly huge news. Meanwhile, the Titans themselves show up at St. Thomas Sports Park today. They kick off organized team activities. We'll be out there tomorrow for our first real chance as the media to get a look at Mike Vrabel's complete team with the veterans and the rookies and everybody together out there for OTAs. So they get going with that. They've got 10 of those sessions before they wrap up with minicamp in mid-June before they break for the summer and then come back ready to go for training camp in the fall. Then you've got some news about the other kind of football here. Soccer. Nashville SC, the MLS franchise, has found its guy to be the CEO of the team, and that's Ian Ayre, the former CEO who just left back at the beginning of the year from Liverpool. You know, one of the most storied and rich franchises in all of soccer around the globe, or football over there in England, coming from the Premier League over to the MLS in Nashville. He's done some big-time things on the business side. He also understands the football thing, and that's what John Ingram wanted, somebody who could kind of oversee both of those and really call the shots from that perspective, something that Ingram didn't feel comfortable doing himself with this team. So big news from that today as well. You've got the Vanderbilt women's tennis team at the NCAA championships down in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. A 4-2 winner today, top-ranked team in the country, beating number 4 Georgia Tech. They won the doubles point. Astra Sharma won at number 1 singles. Fern Contreras won at number 2 singles. And then Georgia Tech cut it to 3-2. The final 2 matches were in the third set. It could have gone either way. Vanderbilt needed to win one of them, and they get the point at number 3 singles when Christina Roska battled back from a set down, won the second set in a tiebreaker, and then got an early break in the third, went on to win 6-3 in the third. So Vanderbilt moves on. They get over the semifinal hump that has really tripped them up the last couple of years. And now they're back in the national championship match for the second time in 4 years, looking for their second national title in women's tennis history. They'll take on Stanford, the 15th overall seed, or the 15th team in the country, tomorrow at noon there on the campus of Wake Forest. Vanderbilt will be a heavy favorite, but Stanford has played phenomenally well in this tournament, knocking off the 2 seed, the 3 seed, and other ranked opponents along the way. So Stanford will certainly be up for the task tomorrow, but a chance for Vanderbilt to take home the title if they can win one more match tomorrow down there at Winston-Salem. And then in Hoover, the SEC baseball tournament. First pitch tomorrow morning, bright and early. It'll be the Commodores as the 6th seed taking on 11 seed Texas A&M. That is a single elimination game. So you need to win that. And Vanderbilt, you know, Vandy is safely in the NCAA tournament. They just have so many great wins. High quality, top 25 wins. Heck, they swept Kentucky over the weekend. They've won 6 of 7 here. So even if they lose tomorrow, they're not in bad shape. But this is not a team that's going to be a national seed or host in the NCAA tournament. So you want to make a run this weekend. You want to move up that board and see as high as you can get. I think right now they're probably a 2 seed on the edge of that. But you certainly don't want to lose and potentially put it into the committee's hands, so to speak, and end up on the 3 line. You want to be in that 2 seed and preferably as close to Nashville as you possibly can be if you're going to have to travel for that opening weekend. So tons of stuff going on right now. Oh yeah, the Predators. You talk about them. Season may be over, but plenty of guys still playing. Yesterday was absolutely incredible from a hockey standpoint if you're a Nashville Predators fan and your team is out of the postseason. Some very meaningful hockey across the pond in Denmark at the IIHF World Championships. Philip Forsberg scoring the game winner in a shootout as Sweden repeats as world champions. Forsberg, Mattias Ekholm, Victor Arvidsson, all a part of that team. So they take home gold from Denmark by defeating Switzerland, which is led by Roman Josi, the Predators captain, and Kevin Fiala. Those guys had a great World Championships as well. So a fantastic final game that goes to overtime and then a shootout. Forsberg's the hero. Sweden wins again. And the bronze medal game saw Kyle Turris assist on a goal for Canada and Nick Bonino score the would-be game winner for the U.S. as the Americans took bronze, winning that rivalry match, as it always is, against Canada. So a great World Championships for the Predators. Something else to get you excited about that team, although perhaps makes you a little bit more frustrated at the fact that they just couldn't get it going for whatever reason up to the standards they had set during the regular season in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. All of a sudden, these guys leave and go play for different teams, and they're lighting the world on fire. Where was that against the Jets? And oh, by the way, where were the Jets against the Vegas Golden Knights? Vegas beating Winnipeg in 4 straight games, 2 of those coming in Winnipeg, which means the Jets lost 4 of their final 5 games at home in the postseason at Bell MTS Place, a place where they won more games than anybody did at home all season long. Just dominant. The fans behind them the entire way. They lost their final 2 games to the Preds there, and then they lost their final 2 games to the Golden Knights there, getting eliminated in Game 5 on home ice. Who would have ever thought that could happen? Preds fans know well, though, because home ice does not mean much in this postseason, especially or even if you have one of the best home ice environments in the sport. We saw that with the Preds against the Jets, and we saw it again with the Jets against the Golden Knights. So Vegas, as an expansion team, moves on to the Stanley Cup Final, and they will face either Tampa Bay or Washington. The Lightning, of course, lead that series 3-2. They are scoreless tonight at the first intermission in D.C. So much going on out there. We welcome your phone calls tonight. 737-7767, the number. Take us anywhere you want. Do you want to talk about the NHL? Do you want to talk about those Vegas Golden Knights? Do you want to talk about the Titans getting set for organized team activities? Or the possibility of the NFL Draft coming here? It looks like more than a possibility at this point. Ian Ayre hired as the CEO of Nashville SC as they get set for their first MLS season. And by the way, one other note from that today, John Ingram, I thought this was interesting, is most people have assumed that this team is going to start in 2020. And he made that clear today that that is their preference to get everything in order and the ducks in a row. But there is a possibility that the MLS would like them to start next season, probably playing at Nissan Stadium for a year before the Fairgrounds Stadium is officially up and built. Ingram said he hopes that's not the case, but it's kind of out of their hands. It's up to the MLS and how they want to implement this in, and if they'll let you play at a secondary venue or a temporary site like Nissan Stadium would be. So that is still very much up in the air for this team in terms of whether they might play next year or not. Ingram said that he expects that answer to come in the next couple of weeks, so we'll get a little bit more clarity then. But still, the future of this team, there's some dates out there that people are going to be interested about, and we'll be curious to see how this all shakes out as we have yet another expansion team come here to Nashville and get set to start to play in the MLS either next year or most likely in 2020. So we can talk about the MLS. We can certainly talk hockey. The other big news from the Predators' standpoint today, Paul Fenton, the assistant GM, who's been here every step of the way, really is David Poyle's right-hand man the last 12 years as the assistant general manager of the team. He was hired today by the Minnesota Wild to become that franchise's general manager. Of course, the connection there, Craig Leopold is now the Wild owner. He was the original owner here in Nashville. So obviously, those guys know each other. Paul Fenton finally gets his big break and a chance to be the general manager of the Minnesota Wild. So something else to think about as you ponder the Preds moving into the offseason. So much to get to here tonight. We would love to hear from you. 737-7767, the number. Our phone lines are wide open. We will take your calls. We will take your thoughts. But when we come back, we will get into the MLS press conference from today as they introduced Ian Ayre as the new general manager of Nashville's MLS team. And then coming up later on the program, we'll hear from some Titans as they report back for organized team activities on the field this week for the first time as a complete group under new head coach Mike Vrabel as they work towards minicamp in mid-June. We'll get to all of that and your phone calls. Again, lines are open 737-7767 as Sportsline continues on here tonight on a Monday night on News Channel 5 Plus. Stay with us. We'll be right back.